Welcome back to Consider This. Melisa and Sharaad here with you tonight. We're talking about Bersatu and its future after to Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. Joining us on the show, Associate Professor Dr. Hamid from Universiti Malaya. Now, let's take a look at the challenges of the party, because earlier you said one of the biggest challenge was coming up with a new narrative to appeal to the younger voters, right? And Bersatu has really, I guess, not risen to the occasion in creating this new narrative. What are some of the other real challenges that this party will face going forward, do you think?
I think one of the biggest challenge is definitely leadership. I think I think it's not just within the Bersatu. I think within the PH government, who's next after Mahathir? I think that, and that's not only about Mahathir itself. It's about the structure of the party. For example, I think that is why I took, and when talking about that, it's not only Mahathir, as I said, are we going to have a new a set of leadership that's coming? And leadership is not only on the central. I think the problem with the Bersatu and looking at the structure of Malaysian politics is not only at the national level, but the state level, and also on the ground level. I think this is where I think Bersatu must prepare for that. This is what I mean by leadership. It's not only Mahathir. Yeah, in my point, I always say that president come and go, but on the ground that matters. So this is where, in my point of view, Bersatu must have a very clear and good choice of leaders that not only leads in the national, but also on the ground. I think that what matters most.
So there's also this question of membership. Now you know, Bersatu, a potential Bersatu member could potentially go to Amanah.
Yeah.
He or she could go to PKR. They could go to DAP if DAP tries to transform itself. Zaid Ibrahim recently taking up the post. You know, and there are young Malay people going into the DAP as well. So now you have a coalition where the parties are not distinct in that fashion anymore, right? Yeah. They don't have distinct membership bases. Yeah. They could potentially are in competition with each other.
Indeed.
So what is Bersatu going to, how is it going to show itself to be the choice of within the Pakatan Harapan, you know, array of parties?
What is the appeal, right? Why would someone join Bersatu?
Good point. This is where I want to take a different approach in regard to that. I always say that if the party politics in Malaysia think that membership is the one concern of them, I think they're making a mistake, especially in the current and the future. When we look at a trend in political affiliations among the young voters, almost zero, almost none.
Meaning young people don't want
they don't want to be affiliated with political party. They love to be independent, meaning their votings, their tendency is based on issues. Okay, based on matters, and times does play. So in my point of view, this is where the party have to realign to that. Rather than so emphasize on membership, they have to take other things that matters to them when it comes to so-called membership or affiliation of the party. This is where, in my point of view, normally when we look cut across the world, two things that always, we like it or not, even in Malaysia, one is personality, and second is issues. And then now start coming out, we're doing survey, for example, we look at the values. What values that the youngs are looking actually? They want to be with certain parties. Freedom of expressions, for example, they want to see that how fluid the structure is within the party. So all that, in my point of view, Malaysian political party must think. I think we always say this when we analyze UMNO, for example, before always shouting that they have 3 over millions. But where are they in voting? Yeah. So it doesn't mean anything actually.
Right, so membership doesn't translate necessarily in support. Well, what about the pressure from outside the Pakatan then? You know, when Bersatu looks at Muafakat Nasional, do they feel now the pressure to ramp up their own identitarian politics and rhetoric at least? Do you think the Muafakat Nasional is going to play a role in shaping the message coming out from Bersatu, or Bersatu going to choose something else?
Good point, Sharaad. This is where I said just now, this is where what, for example, lacking into Bersatu, for example, to counter that narrative of Muafakat Nasional, this is where I said just now. I think they should take that opportunity, and not so much to counter, to have difference with Muafakat Nasional, but to give their own version of what's, for example, the Malay Muslims agenda for the future. I think they should use that opportunity to say, okay, we reject this, but what is ours. I think that is something, and for me, they have the advantage because they are in the ruling government and they have the partners, the APs, others who, in my point of view, definitely want to have that narrative, want to create new something that will give them a lot of way to maneuver to create that narrative.
But do you think the current leadership of Bersatu embodies those values or wants to espouse those values? Even?
Yeah, I think yes, but I think looking at that, in my point of view, they try to project new things. But as I said just now, when we look at the bigger picture of Malaysian politics, this is the gamble that I have to look. For example, when can they really sell the ideas? I think definitely when they want to sell that during the heat of Muafakat Nasional, that would be a very much big clash. I do expect they will come with something. I do expect they will come with something when they have the right time to position PH. I think they will come with something
Would it be a Congress Marah Melayu?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't
Congress
think so.
Marah was Bersatu. But never mind.
I think no, but I do expect they will have a very good, clear policy. I'm looking into that kind of deklarasi rakyat kind of approach where everybody agrees into that. That's what we're seeing basically in Malaysian politics today. And then I believe Bersatu can play a big role in that.
Okay. Now, you know, in the last minute or so that we have, when we look at this contest that's upcoming, who should we look at? I mean, what are the more interesting competitions do you see happening, you know, and where could we look? Is it the youth wing or is it the women's wing? Where do you want us to look?
I still want to look at the youth wing.
Syed Saddiq.
And then, and especially I want to see the emergence of new leadership. Not only leadership, but maybe in the vice presidents and others. Because I think, like it or not, in the past 20 months, when Bersatu put out the name as a cabinet and other people always said, do we have another choice? We like it or not, that is something. So I think this is a good opportunity for them that to give at least projection that we are different. We have the different sets of leaders, and I definitely want to see the young one to be there. Maybe not to take over yet, but at least is there in the second layers or third layers prepared to take over in the post-Mahathir period. Yeah.
Could I very quickly just ask you, do you think this is related at all to who's going to be next, perhaps in the education minister role?
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay. I think when Mahathir makes a statement that it is a Bersatu post, normally will goes to senior leadership,
sure.
vice presidents and other. I think definitely that's hit up. Actually, I was talking to a friend. I think when Mahathir do that, I think that will make a lot of them start asking how much money they have in the pocket. I think basically that's basically how to fund the campaign in term of that. But I think it is definitely will have some meaning.
All right.
in the elections. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the show. It's been a wonderful discussion about the future of Parti Bersatu. That's all the time we have on Consider This. I'm Melisa. Idris with me, Sharaad, Kuttan, signing off for tonight. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Thank you for watching and good night.